Peace of the tribe. Welcome to the show. It's your host, AD, here with cultivate.co.com, here with the whiterabbit.com, here for the Hairpins Book Club, and also big shout out to the initiates. Big shout out to the initiates of the flame. Go show love, man. Go show love. Click the links down below and check us out. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, initiates. number one spiritual panel, fire group of gentlemen coming from creative outlooks, coming from spiritual outlooks. So let's go ahead and please show love to the Substack. Check out the Substack. We might even go over article tonight. You know what I'm saying? The Substack. If you don't want to read a lot of books or don't want to be caught up into a whole bunch of shit, man, join the Substack. The Substack will literally help you get a lot of information in, not waste your time, help you get a lot of articles that we talk about, especially about the spiritual man or the gnosis, the soul, and the psyche. So check that out. So for today's show, what we have tonight is really one, it's a late show. So thank you for joining. And then if you watch it in the morning, take notes, rap, leave comments, like, and share, please. But tonight we're talking about really coding the base for spirituality, coding the base for spiritual practice, coding a space to understand it. And, understanding that you're a spiritual being having a human experience is a big key to your spiritual practices. And understanding, like, that you have to get rid of all the things that you have prior to your mind, right? Because when we understand spirituality and understand that we're spiritual beings, you have to realize that you have to let go of the shit that don't serve you, right? You have to let go of old things. And what I mean by let go of old things, see, in spirituality, or just realizing that you're a spiritual being, you have to realize that you're more than the body. You have to realize there's an unseen world that we are not taught to see. And we are taught to see it. We are taught to see it through Christ, through Jesus, through religion, worship. And we have to understand that most of these things that we are really putting our mind to, putting our hearts into, is really taking us away from our spiritual selves, our spiritual practices, and our higher self. Because we have to understand that when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to knowledge and information, you have to realize that you don't know nothing in order to learn something, right? And what I'm talking about, see, what I'm talking about is that when you start this spiritual practice, this spiritual awakening, or your so-called woke now, you have to realize everything that you learned was technically a lie, or everything that you learned, you have to relearn because since you have now awakened into a new being, since you have now awakened to your inner self, your higher self, you're going to start seeing things different. Like, and what I mean by seeing things different, understanding of the unseen world, the spiritual world, right? Now, before we get to jumping in and diving into that, first let me give you the card of the day, right? And usually when we do a card of the card of the day is really here to help you understand like energies of the day, and also, right? Let me go ahead and show you this because most of the time when people see tarots or here we doing tarot readings, most time people get stuck in the concept of like predicting the future and all that cool stuff. And really with tarot, it's about really understanding the archetypes within you, right? So let me pull up this bad boy and have you understand why we do these type of card readings or why we get into this type of information. And again, shout out to the White Rabbit, shout out to Columbia Exchange, shout out to cultivate.com.co. Really check out those websites, you know what I'm saying? Because when you really tap into your inner higher self, what is your higher self telling you? What are you bringing? You know what I'm saying? So go check out those websites because that's what our higher self is telling us in this group. So here where we have is explaining one card spreads, explaining understand tarot. So right here, if you see the screen, make sure y'all can see that. Oh, let me get rid of the overlay. That's blocking it. Where's that overlay? Because it's blocking it. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still trying to get better with running the screen, doing a lot of things. But when you don't put a lot of work in, this what you get. So I've been working, learning, and watch how a boy do. Watch your boy work. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand most of this information, you have to really go out the way to study it. So for the card of the day, right, and there's different spreads in tarot to help you understand the energy that you're trying to get. So one card spreads are ideal for almost any reading when you have a single question requiring a relative straightforward answer, yes or no. Should I go? Should I stay? Speak, remain silent, act, wait. All work well with one card spreads. One card spreads are also effective for date, time, specific questions, asking will, when will I, should I can. If you use 40 minor cards for time readings, the numbers of the card will give you days, weeks, months, according to a realistic time frame, and how you should proceed to act according to the suit. The nature of the card selected often suggests how a negative can be turned to a positive. You can also ask, is will what be a question about a person or situation to offer clarity when needed. You can add a second card if necessary to understand the single card. So, if you ever got a tarot reading, some people might actually get into that. Like they'll pull up another card to define your reading. So, right here, this explains the card of the day. Purpose and background information. You can use this spread every day to alert you what you need to know about the day ahead. If the answer is not clear, or if it's a particularly significant day, add a second card. You may find it useful to note in your tarot journal. So, like, if you want to get good at tarot, if you want to understand tarot practices, this is where you start. And it's not about, giving yourself a whole bunch of readings and like leading the cards. It's about working with each card, learning and studying it, but also seeing how these cards connect to us in a deeper way. So here's the card, right? A full deck of 78 cards. Choose one card at random from anywhere in the face down deck. Every morning after you've woken up, if you're still someone sleepy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really want your mind to be in a certain type of state when you really get into this stuff, like certain times in the morning. Because when you understand cultivating the space for your spiritual practice is through your mindset first. You have to lock your mind in and tune into a specific thing. Because if you just try to jump into spirituality without no studying and just get to doing shit, you'll be up here buying all this stuff from so-called spiritual people who just selling you stuff. You'll get into all these things and modalities of, literature and information and really not know a thing or how it pertains to developing your soul. So since we got the card of the reading, now let's go into the card of the day. So the card that you're seeing is the Sun card, right? And the Sun card, right, really helps us understand and overstand how we are being connected to spiritual insights, right? So first, in the first download of this card, right? Anytime when you look at tarot cards, you always want to look at the symbols that's being pointed right at the bottom of the card, especially for the major arcana. So this card right here is speaking into your higher self, speaking into where most of the times like higher mind comes from. That's from our crown chakra. That comes from the top of our head, literally in a tree of life where it speaks to Kether. Right, what I'm saying. So and I'm gonna bring that up. I'm not just gonna be speaking all these big words so it confuse you, but the Hebrew letter of this card is Resh, and Resh deals with the head, the higher chakra centers, right? So what I'm trying to get you to understand is the inner light within us, right? Like the light of God, the sun, right? The sun within and the sun without is being expressed in this card. So understanding that race connects you to higher mind, higher goals, higher self. You know what I'm saying? Then you be in a place of okay, I can tune into my higher self whenever I need to. Right? I can connect to my higher self and resonate with myself whenever I need to. Because one thing that we tend to not pay attention to this card is that is understanding that we are being connected to create the world around us and shape it to our goals. But we have to be in harmony within ourselves, right? We have to generate a higher mind and be in a place of intellect, right? Controlling our emotions, right? So let me show you where this card resonates and connects to on the tree of life. So right here, this card is connecting to your side, right? It's connecting to, hold up, there you go. It's connected between side and high. And this is where the Hebrew letter Rashis is sitting between this path of the tree of life. So you have high and your side. Your side is connected to the moon, right? Which this is where 9 sit, and this is where 8 sit. So connecting to Mercury to your side. So you can say like this whole structure right here of like the middle center of the tree of life is connecting us to our lower selves and bringing us into a balanced state of mind, because high represents those like, intellectual insights, you know what I'm saying? Because Mercury, while your side connects us to our inner selves and our deeper selves because of the moon. So the sun card being here gives us that shine of light. But the sun itself sits in Tipra. This is where the holy guardian angel sits at. This is where you find balance. This is a straight shot to Kether. Kether always straight down. And understanding these 3 vessels of the tree of life, left, right, and middle, is going to give you a good sum and understanding of this energy. But for right now, let's just focus on the sun card and how you need to tap in to your higher self, your higher mind. And when we think about your side is where the subconscious mind is sitting. And like when we understand that your side affects the astral body in a way, you know what I'm saying? So seeing this card in the reading, or seeing this card when you pull it for yourself, is have you understand the inner drive, the inner soul, the inner being within you is literally trying to guide you in your life. But we don't know how to connect to this being because this being has been hidden from us. We are given Jesus or any other spiritual guru or entity that is, telling us the greatness within inside of ourselves, but it's not, it's being misguided. So, but just know there's 2 aspects to this card, knowing that there's like, because the sun represents our ego and our personality. So when you think about that, we might be in this card, but we might have an aspect of like we should know niggas and we better than people. And it's like I don't want you to be in that energy. Like I don't want you to be in that energy of the sun card where you're not balanced and you're in a place of ego. You want to be in a place of higher mind, because if you the other side of this card is like being negative, right? You having a hard time seeing your path. You having a hard time to realize that God is in your life and God is shining the light within you, right? You have this light, Genesis 1, let there be light, and you have this light being refracted down to a fractal or a prism, going down many different phases of showing the expansion of consciousness and life being created. So in order for you to tap into this card, meditate on it, meditate on the Hebrew letter, because most of the time when we get into tarot, we think tarot is about, readings and doing readings and finding out the future, or getting into, this spiritual side to ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And in a way it's true, but it's understanding how that is happening. And we need to understand that tarot or Kabbalah is an ancient breakdown of how we connect with the universe. So Tarot and Kabbalah are about how to connect with the universe. So if you're trying to understand and see deep insight within inside yourself, you have to go within and meditate. And it takes 15 minutes to effectively meditate and to go within. But it's hard to do that when there's a lot of distractions of today's world. You got things like Sexy Red. You got Trump and Kamala Harris beefing. You got You know what I'm saying? So many things. And like, I'm trying to have you understand, if you're not paying attention to your inner world, it's going to be like the downfall. So let's get into some astrology. Let's get into like the dating really. So right now, what we're keeping track of is the moon. So the moon is in Pisces. It was just a moon conjunct Neptune, and it's starting to move away from it and going into Chiron, soon into Aries, and then we might have a Uranus conjunct moon soon when it steps into Taurus. But the moon lasts 2 to 3 days within the sign. So it's like, if you're tracking the moon, if you're doing rituals with the moon, better keep up. Time waits on no man. When we think of time, we're talking about the time of the celestial heavens, the time of the sun being going around the earth, and more. So I'm bringing these thoughts and ideals to you because you need to understand how this is really resonating for you. So let's break down the moon in Pisces. When we think about moon in Pisces, we are getting into a place of our subconscious mind. So what I just say about your side, what I would say about the tree of life in this card, is about connecting to your deep inner self. So just a minute ago, the moon was conjunct Neptune, so you might have deep spiritual insights. You might have psychic galore going on, right? You know, your mind was really resonating with your deep self, but at the same time, it's like, if we don't get past, right, if we don't see through the veil, if we don't see through the illusion, our moon being in this place might cause us to do undoing of self, to be in a spot of like, being stuck in the confusion, being stuck within yourself and not being able to see higher mind or chase that higher mind, because the 12th house, or the house of Pisces, is called the house of self-undoing. It is also the house of spirituality. So what I'm trying to say is that if you resonate and connect with your moon, you can get deep spiritual insights and understand how to access the veil within you, how to go through your life with guidance. Because most of the time we don't have guidance in our life, whether it's from our parents or whoever, guardians. We need to find guidance in God, find guidance in our soul. So if we can resonate, cultivate a time and practice to meditate upon ourselves, then we can get into a place of creating deep gratitude, because the new moon is coming. So, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to plant new seeds, plant new gardens, right? Because the moon's going to be in Aries soon. So I'm saying, so we think about that initiation, think about that like that fight, because it's August 22nd, Thursday. The next new moon is probably gonna be almost in down near September, right? Because we have a waning crescent until like August 31st. Right now, the moon is in a waning gibbous. So it's just like, if you are really not like getting ready and setting yourself ready for this new moon, set intentions, set gratitude, right? Because if you're not setting your intentions, someone else will. And before I start learning about the moon, right, I didn't really know what the moon could offer me. I didn't know what the moon could bring for me. And what the moon could bring for you is deep healing, deep intuition, right? If you get some roses or some lilies, right, and you burn them on your altar and give it and work with the moon and drink herb, I promise you, family, you will get the deepest spiritual insight by going to your dream world. Because this moon in Pisces is a good time to be connected to your dreams. It's a good time to be doing dream work. A good time to be putting rosemary under your pillows along with roses, right? Because if we want to get into these place of magical practices, we have to cultivate and we have to learn about it. But if we don't learn and cultivate for our spiritual practices, right, if we're not training our subconscious mind, we're going to be still in a place of illusion, be in a place of not having guidance, right? Because if we're in the house of unself-doing, we're going to be doing things like all types of shit, right? So let's say if we had a Mars in Pisces, right? So Mars is not a good spot for Pisces, you know what I'm saying? Because you have water, fire and water, and fire and water are not good energies. They kind of like weaken each other. So a Mars and Pisces, right? You might be doing some fuck shit. You might be doing some things in the dark that you don't want people to know. or you might be like causing unself-doing to yourself because the actions that you could take in your life, you know what I'm saying, probably cause you to be doing things that wasn't serving your highest good until you turn around and start making those things towards spiritual goods. So right now, focus on that. And I know we see other things in the 12th house, but if you're a beginner to astrology, if you start working with astrology, you want to understand the sun and the moon first. The sun is how you give, the moon is how you receive. But you need to understand the sun and the moon and your rising, right? Once you understand your sun and moon, go into your rising. But this is creating a space for you to really understand your archetypical mind, right? Understand the archetypes within your mind, because the 12 zodiacs represents different archetypes within our mind. All these zodiacs are aspects of you. So of course you're going to have different planets, different correlation to these spots. But it's understanding that if you don't start with your sun and moon first and understand my sun is in this house and my moon is in this house and my moon is on this deacon, how is my moon being expressed? Do my moon got a lot of oppositions? Do my moon got a lot of squares? And that's when we'll talk about aspects. But when you understand each sign, like creating a study to astrology is really creating an understanding and communication to your soul. Because this world is based on symbols. So for us to think that these symbols are not controlling us or playing a role in our life, then we're choosing to ignore certain things, right? So if you get what I'm putting down, put a 1 in the comments, put a flame in the comments, put a H in the comments, you know, H for the Heritage Book Club, you know what I'm saying? Flame for the initiates of the flame. 1, because 1 is the start of your spiritual self, and it creates a cause and effect within Mount Coot. Kether is a cause and effect of Mount Coot, right? So, and I know that to some people, they're like, oh shit. Some people are like, what is that, right? So, as we're talking about astrology, I want to pull up a little video, and it's from one of these people who's really trying to get into spirituality, who's really trying to understand what these things was telling them. And this is a gentleman named Bill Donahue, and also he white. You know what I'm saying? When we have these brothers on the screen talking they heat, talking about all this and stuff, y'all be like, I don't know. But when we put that white man on the screen talking that heat, y'all get the he's been telling us this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put him on the screen. Shout out to my boy Bill Donahue. He really be on it, man. He be applying pressure. But, you know, y'all ain't ready for that. So yeah. So here's Bill. Let's go. And he's just talking about astrology and shit. We're not gonna watch the whole video. I just want you to understand some things that he's trying to break down. So pull out your notepads and pens. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get it going. Yeah.
I have such a hard time trying to figure out why people are afraid of the things that God has created. Well, of course, people can misuse it for fortune telling and so forth.
I'm sorry, Tribe. All right, so let's resume this and get back to it.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the influences, the vibrations that come from these planets. You know, it's just such an important part. Like, as we showed you last week, the days of the week are named after the 7 planets. And the moon controls the...
So you hear that? He said the 7 days of the weeks are named after the planet. So if we think about it, moon is moon day. Tuesday is Mars Day, Shango or Tyr or whatever Martian deity you want to compare it to. Wednesday is Woden's day, Odin's day, Hermes, Thoth. So just keep that in mind about these things, family.
The tides, the sun controls life, and you can't just believe that everything up there is just rolling around in some billiard ball with no reason and no purpose. Let me show you something. You know what the Greek word for that universe is? Kosmos. You know that, cosmos. Cosmos. And you know what that word means? It means law. Everything up there has a purpose and a reason, and it affects man. It affects the way we live. Jesus Christ said in Luke 22:10, when you see the man, now let's take a look at what he said so that we get an idea. When you see the man carrying, that's the man carrying the pitcher of water. Okay. Now that's Aquarius. Don't think Jesus didn't know what he's talking about. He sure did. He's talking about this age right now. So that's now. Okay. When you see the man carrying the pitcher of water, this is Luke 22:10. He says, enter into the house, and the house is you. Enter into yourself. Go to the upper room, and the upper room is your higher consciousness. And he said, there you will be fed by him. That's where you'll have the Passover, in the upper room. And so now we understand, as we realize the movement of these tremendous universal things that God has created, that Jesus was talking about the man with the pitcher of water, which is the Christ, pouring out. Don't you remember it says? What's it say in the Bible? I will pour out my spirit upon you. What I'm trying to get through to you is that God has created in the universe a blueprint of life, a blueprint of the movement of the universe, a blueprint of what life is all about and how to overcome that which is the evil and that which is oppressive and rise up to that which is heavenly. What's going to happen is that, according to the Institute in France, in the year 2010, this Aquarian age is going to peak, the year 2010. And basically what the age of Aquarius is the constellation of the planet Uranus. All right, Uranus. That is called the son of heaven or the god of heaven.
So, family, as you saw, shout out to Bill Donahue. Much love and ashe to him. But I just shared that with you, so you would get like the breakdown and like really just the understanding of what this is trying to understand to you. Like, so what I'm saying is, right? Because I kind of just did some rambling, but it's understanding that to understand your life path, to understand your energies, your gifts, your greatness, is getting into the astrology, right? Because if you don't get into the astrology, if you don't get into that, you don't really, and I'm not saying like, right, you get into astrology, your life is going to be great, you're going to be bringing all these things, and it's like, no, it's understanding the fluctuations of your mind, it's understanding like your gifts, it's understanding like things and aspects to your life that you don't really see. And remember, astrology is for connecting and communicating with our soul, creating symbols and ritual to understand our soul, right? So let's get into this next piece I got for y'all. Whatever. Spirituality. So where's it? Here, we're actually gonna break into the live readings because I honestly got to be up pretty early, man. I just wanted to go live because I love talking about spirituality. I love getting into spiritual information, spiritual things, and like I want to grow and cultivate my channel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I got to come up here after I've been out all day to share my downloads throughout the day as I'm meditating, grounding, and really cultivating my experience. You know, you should too. You should be cultivating, growing your experience. You should be out here in your community, getting your name out there, right? And you might be a person like, well, AD, I ain't trying, I'm trying to grow, but I ain't trying to like be involved in my community. Okay, you don't have to be like this crazy monster entrepreneur, blah blah blah. But whatever your soul is telling you, one thing you should is get involved in your community or have a resource of people, have a group of renowned men that you know. Because it's like, at the end of the day, family, it's not who you know. I'm sorry, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So connect with people. Really get yourself out there, because when you out here all by yourself, or if you're not out here with a team, man, you're gonna be looking around wanting help, and you can't get it because you didn't go out the way to build those resources. So let me go ahead, grab the cards. So I'm gonna do this live reading. We're gonna bounce out. I'm gonna do a part 2 tomorrow. Just finish up this information. I got a jiu-jitsu camp I'm doing, so I'm going to traveling like 4 hours away, doing a big camp. You know what I'm saying? Getting some grappling in, so it's gonna be lit. But like before I go, I'm gonna do this live reading. I'm gonna pull a card and just see the vibes, right? And see what we got going on for ourselves, and like what we can tune into, because it's like, man, Tarot has changed my life. It really has. It helps me understand myself deeper. It helps me understand how to go about certain things. And like, I have multiple decks where I talk to spirit. I have decks where I learn and build practice. But it's like, when you cultivate your space for spirituality, it's about really learning and putting yourself in places where you have to grow. You have to get outside your comfort zone. And I was never, back at the point in time, I was really never comfortable coming up here. I really still didn't like myself. I didn't know what to talk about, even though I didn't know what to talk about. I just had a lot going on in my mind, and being a young man, and I know I probably bring that up a lot. I know some of y'all probably be like, damn, bro, you get it, you young, you 24, or you're a young adult. But it's like, family, I don't know where my life would be if I didn't have spirituality. I wouldn't know where my life would be without God. Like, all the opportunities that's happening in my life is because of the Most High. And it's because I've been going on my way to really understand and cultivate that. So all the ups and downs I've been through, it's really helped me create myself, helped me create this inner self that I'm trying to bring out, to like bring in my life and to show people. Because when this book drop, when this book get done, it's about becoming the person you're trying to be, learn how to be, to manifest it into real day time. And we think about our future selves, but to interact with our future selves, we have to be present. We have to be present. In order to be present, right, we have to be mindful. We have to be aware of today. So I'm gonna pull this card. We're gonna get some downloads. I'm gonna bounce out and get some rest for myself, because man, I got a lot to do. And if anything, I'll make sure I'm gonna have time for my channel, my spiritual practices, and really just coming up here and like helping people learn about astrology, learn about esoterics, learn about the soul. So if you haven't got the chance to tune in to the Niches of the Flame, go check them out. We just dropped a whole bunch of fire episodes, fire content on the Substack, but I digress. So the card we have today, we got Ten of Cups, Sadie, right? So my question to you is, do you want this shit? Are you hungry for this shit? Or another way to put it is that, are you full? Have you had too much to eat? It's like, why I'm saying that is because when we think about the Ten of Cups, and when we think about tens, period, tens are related to Malkuth, right? It relates to Earth, so it's relating to our physical and our mundane world. So it's really pointed to like the 3D world. Like Malkuth represents the Earth, and Earth is an anagram for heart, right? So most of the time, we don't really think about our domain or anything. But the main outlook of this card, right? I want to pull it up so y'all can see it bigger. Sorry. Right here, this is the Ten of Cups, safety, right? So most of the times, if you see this card, it's really just pointing to a type of happiness that is short-lived, right? So what I'm saying is that, see, when it comes to the material world, or when it comes to the mundane, sometimes we in it and we not really paying attention to, right? So what I'm getting at is that we so worried about a Birkin bag, we so worried about that next car, we so worried about the next thing, but we're not really focusing on the deep insight that is around us in day to day. Like sometimes we lose our pleasure when it comes to this card. Like let's say you might be working hard on something, you got a goal and an outcome, but we're not really seeing that goal and outcome through, is because we're stuck in, places of lower mind. We're not really chasing, the most high. Like we're mostly chasing, material things that we think is going to satisfy us, and it's not. It's really not. And like to the Ten of Cups, that's crazy, because when we think about the Ten of Cups, hold up. Yeah, the moon is practically within that range. So it's gonna be on the Ten of Cups, but it's on the Nine of Cups. So you could say like the transition of this card is like a person who's like wished for something, right? Because the Nine of Cups is like basically it's like ever what you wish for. So like you probably getting these things in your life, and you probably manifesting, bringing them into 3D plane, but it's like it's not satisfying you, right? You probably gotten all these clothes, cars, money, hoes, and it's not satisfying you. And I need you to understand that like you need to let go of the stagnancy, right? You need to let go of like, see, you want this perfect success in your life, family, but that perfect success is only going to come through the eyes of God. See, when we're stuck in a place of like wanting or trying to go get it, there's nothing wrong with that, but is our drive from the Most High, or is our drive from Datalicious? So I want you to really focus on not being stuck in this short-lived happiness, not being in a place of depression, right? I want you to be in a place of like growing and resonating with yourself, not just moving on to the next thing and trying to find something that's going to bring you pleasure. Because when we think about cups represents Bria, represents water. It represents the, as you can say, like, not the formative world, because that's Yasira. Bria represents like that the water element to our soul. So basically what I'm trying to get into is like cups represent our deep emotions. So with the Ten of Cups, right, your emotions might be something material, something mundane, and I'm trying to tell you, you need to let go of that and chase higher mind, chase higher things, because when you're working within God, you're going to find joy and love in your purpose. You're going to find, the beauty in your purpose. But when you in this place where you're not connected to God, you can only satisfy what the ego wants. The ego wants this, the ego wants that, but God just has you focus on one thing. And you might be feeling you're doing a whole bunch of different things that's going to be pulled to that one thing. Like, you probably want to learn how to have a garden, but you got to learn so many things to a garden that it all correlates to one thing. But it's learning those things each time in the day. So if you want to move on to the next in your learnings. Gain information, keep growing, keep learning, because that's really going to help you satisfy that clench thirst to move on to the next. So if you resonated with that, drop a fire, drop a flame, drop an H, drop a 1. If you really resonate with that and that really touched you, like you've been trying to like build this foundation in your life, but it's not that. It's like constantly you wanting the next thing, constantly you choosing something that is bringing you momentary pleasureness, which is really not bringing you to a place of fulfillment, to a place of like I ate good today, I'm gonna go to bed. It's like, nah, you ate something. It's like, now you want more. Now you just want to keep feasting to satisfy yourself. You have to understand to satisfy that everlasting thirst, to satisfy that hunger is through the spirit. So, yeah, that is today's live reading, along with just understanding the cosmos and energy. Go ahead and book me for a reading and really resonate and tap in with me. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's for financial, career, understanding your chart, just hit me up. Go to cultivate.com.co and book yourself a reading and reach out to me, man. Or if you ain't fucking with me, reach out to my brothers, reach out to the initiates of the flame. You can get a reading from Breeze or Hood. Check them out, man, because it's like we can always get guidance, and it's like if we're not tuned into our higher self, maybe we need to talk to people who help us tune us into that and hear what our higher self has been trying to tell us. Because we ignore our higher selves each and every day when we don't tune into ourselves. So if we're not cultivating that space for spirituality, how can we cultivate a space to grow? So Ashe, much love. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you tapping in. I know it's late at night, but those who tapped in with me and just checked out the video, it means so much to me. It means so much to initiates, and it shows how much you care about your spiritual growth, because spirituality, for you to get into this type of information shows that you're a higher select being. Like the people who tune into this channel and show are real spiritual beings. But you understand that you are human. You understand that you are grounded to this body. And you might not love your life. You might enjoy life. I want you to understand that being a spiritual being in this body is a blessing and a curse. Because even though we're grounded to the earth, we can leave right now and go to the source at any given moment. We are bridges between heaven and earth. Man is. But when we think about these angels and these animals and these other species, they can't really do what we do. They all have their specialness and their gifts, but we can really tap into divine light at any moment. Or we can ignore God's will and do what we want. And I think that's beautiful, because we can either follow nature or disobey. So, and I've been really getting myself aligned to follow nature, because it's like, why not? Why not follow something that's been guiding us all our lives? Why not follow something that teaches us true magic, true spirituality? That is nature. So that is all for tonight. I need to go to bed because I want to make morning training too, then go to work. Why are we trying to do so much? I just need to sit down and just meditate. Forget the mundane. But I be out here, y'all. I be out here in these streets, and I clear my energy, get my dream catchers, sage them down, sage up the room, sage up the energy, like stretch before I go to bed. So I'm gonna shower up, lay down, get back up. But I love the grind, and I love being out here, man. So again, hit me up, hit up the tribe, and join the Discord family. Like we literally, let me show you this Discord real quick before I go, because we was in the Discord and people was like talking about herbal remedies. They was talking about their days. It's like when you have a group and a team that you connect and resonate with, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna want to do so much, you're gonna want to learn so much from them. And like when I tell you, man, this spiritual group is really something. And it's not like no spiritual groups where everybody here charging you, trying to take your money. No, it's no spiritual groups where you grow, you learn yourself, and like you really try to like be out there. So like, yeah, we talked about, drinking tea, resonate with herbs. Everybody's talking about what they was doing. People talking about they fasting. So like join the Discord, man, because like we don't play no games when it comes to helping each other and all that, man. We laugh and crack jokes. We do so much, brothers. So check out the Discord, get in with us, because if you're not, you just like, you playing with yourself and your time. But I'm done for tonight. Peace and love.